If you're newer to jiu-jitsu, you've probably felt yourself feeling confused and frustrated over the position of closed guard. And I get it. It can be frustrating, and oftentimes some of the very basics are neglected when starting this position. And then you wonder why you can't hit an armbar from closed guard, why you can't hit guillotines from closed guard, why you can't do anything from closed guard. We're gonna cover a topic that many of you have requested, plus more. I'm gonna help you get your closed guard to a point that is not only usable, but is reliable. Let's dive in. Now, closed guard can be a little tricky because you think that because you can wrap your legs around your opponent's waist while laying flat on your back, that you have the position covered. There are so many fine details and nuances and patterns and things that you need to pay attention to in order for your closed guard to be effective. And many of those things slip through the cracks. So we're gonna cover some mistakes that you're most likely doing, how to fix it, and then by the end, I'm gonna give you some very usable submissions that isn't just the traditional armbar that you've learned that probably still can't hit after a few years of training. So with that, your number one mistake that you're probably doing is that you're holding on to closed guard for too long. For many rookie jiu-jitsu practitioners, closed guard can feel safe, and without punches, it relatively is safe when you're the one encompassing someone inside your guard. Now, because it does feel safe, we tend to hold on to it for dear life, especially when your opponent starts to break your guard open. Once your opponent breaks open your guard or your feet come undone, the level at which he is out only progresses. So for you to continuously reach for closed guard makes no sense. You need to transition to something else. And if you've been following me for a while, you know this is a principle that I like to focus on. You need to be able to move to other things. Jiu-jitsu is three-dimensional. You have options, you have an option tree, right? Much like in a video game, when you're unlocking new weapons and attachments, you have an option tree. If someone breaks open your guard, your next option should be some variation of an open guard. We can see in this example as my partner breaks open my guard, instead of reaching to close my guard again behind his back, which is nearly impossible because he's already put his knee into my tailbone and popped my grip on my ankles apart, I need to transition to something else like an open guard variation, because now this allows me to hit submissions from this position. This is something I want you to get used to thinking about. Just because you've bailed and moved on from one position doesn't mean that you've lost. It just means that you're adjusting. And many times, by switching to a new position, you're giving yourself new opportunities, like opportunities for submissions and sweeps. Jiu-jitsu is very dynamic, and it forces you to make decisions on your own in real time very quickly. So if someone starts to break your guard open, don't try to force that thing back closed again. Transition to something else like open guard. And I think you'll see that you'll start giving yourself more opportunities to win that match. And I just want to take a second to give my sponsor, X Martial, a shout out. On the mats, you've got seconds to react, and sometimes even less. You train for hours to move with precision. Your gear should keep up. X Martial makes high quality, high performance no-gi gear. The fit is clean and the material durable, breathable, and built for battle. One thing I can't stand about certain no-gi brands is how quickly the material falls apart and how quickly the designs wash away. Literally every single one of my rash guards that I own from X Martial has stood the test of time. I've been training jiu-jitsu for 9 years and I still have rash guards that look brand new. And since we're talking about the designs, they're original, they're unique, they help you look good. If you're gonna go compete and you don't feel you look your best, do you think that's helping you in your performance? You wanna go out and feel good about the person that you've built. And no-gi attire definitely helps with that. So if you want to look as good as me and probably even better, get over to xmartial.com and grab yourself some gear. I know you'd be happy you did. Look good, feel sharp, roll hard. Let's get back to the video. Mistake number 2 that you're probably doing while utilizing closed guard is laying very still and lying flat on your back. If you're doing this, you're making your opponent's life that much more easy. Oftentimes you want to make your opponent react to your movements. In those reactions, you will find opportunities. So if I'm just laying flat on my back and I'm staying very still, I am giving my opponent one problem to deal with. the legs that are wrapped around his waist. But if I start moving around and he has to make adjustments in his posture and adjustments in how he's facing me and adjustments with how he's trying to escape that guard, now I've elevated his problem-solving scenarios to a point where he has to pay attention to more things at once. And when you do that, you create opportunity for yourself. I want you to think about this. You're in my guard and I'm not doing anything with my body. Maybe I'm grip fighting a little bit, but my legs and my torso are stationary. That's not so threatening at all. But I start moving around, I start jumping from side to side. Maybe I start rocking up onto my hips and I start threatening sweeps. And then you have to address the sweep. And because you're addressing the sweep, now you've given me an opportunity for a submission. These elements are how you chain techniques together and chain submission attempts together. You want that movement because it creates opportunity. So if you're laying completely still while being flat on your back, is just start moving around a little bit, shifting your weight on your hips, jumping from maybe one knee to the other. Just get used to moving around. You might not have a purpose behind this yet. You might not know what comes next yet because you're a white belt, or maybe you're a blue belt and you just don't have that knowledge built up yet, and that's totally fine. You're making your opponent address those movements. He doesn't know, she doesn't know that you don't know what you're doing. But I can guarantee you, you're gonna be more of a challenge if you're moving around than if you're just laying there flat on your back. Be a moving target, be a moving weapon. It makes a big difference. The third mistake that you're probably doing while utilizing closed guard is that you're only using your upper body to manipulate your opponent. This is a very common reaction for white belts. We're already very upper body dominant. We forget that we can incorporate our lower body and our core to get what we want. So as you can see in this example, I've got my partner in closed guard. Now, instead of trying to pull him forward with my arms, all I have to do is ab curl him. So I'm bringing my knees to my chest while he's in my closed guard to break down his posture, to move his body closer to mine. And in doing that, I'm spending so much less energy, and it's also a lot more efficient and a lot faster than just trying to fold him forward using my upper body. And in doing this, it gives me more opportunity for submissions. As you can see here, I'm gonna get a nice head and arm choke locked up just because I broke his posture down, right? I was able to pull his chest closer to mine so that I could cinch this up nice and easy. This is something that you can do right out of the gate. And one piece of advice I can give you real quick is to go easy on yourself here because you're probably not gonna be good at this right away. And truthfully, it's probably best to try this stuff when sparring with other white belts. If you're trying this on purple belts, brown belts, black belts, don't expect yourself to be successful with it right away because the layers of tricks and techniques and counters are very deep in jiu-jitsu, but this is a very basic function of closed guard, to be able to manipulate your opponent's posture and positioning with your abs, your core, and your hips. So try this on other white belts, even try this submission on other white belts, and you probably see that you're gonna have a bit more success here, and this can help you build confidence with it and build that skill as you progress through jiu-jitsu. The reason why this submission works so well when paired with this posture breakdown is because I also am controlling one of his wrists or his post. As I curl him close to me, he may try to post with his right hand, but his left hand belongs to me. And as I pass that across my face to the other side of my chest, it leaves an opening for me to lock up this choke. And this never would have been available if I wasn't already controlling his posture or his positioning with my hips. So give this a try and really try to focus on not being so upper body dominant, but use your upper body and your lower body together like a team. And I think you'll see it makes all the difference. And lastly, trying to hit a traditional armbar from closed guard, if you don't understand the mechanics and the nuances of closed guard, you're never gonna be able to hit this armbar. It's one of the first armbars that we're taught, yet so many people remain so unsuccessful with it. So what I wanna do here is combine a couple points of discussion that we've already covered today and use a variation of this armbar to help you hit more armbars from closed guard. I can tell you that I don't hit the traditional armbar all that much. I don't even really go for it all that much. But the underhook armbar is one of my favorites. So you're gonna see as I start to develop or work into this armbar, there's gonna be a couple differences, right? There's a little bit of an arm drag element here. Also, my inside arm gets an underhook on that nearby leg, which helps me turn my hips out in the direction that's absolutely needed to hit this armbar, which I find is the reason this is almost easier to finish than the first one. I bite down on his posture with that inside leg, and then I throw my outside leg over his face. All the while, my outside arm maintains that pressure on his wrist, keeping his thumb pointed to the ceiling. Now, once I'm here, I can bail on the underhook and get two hands on that wrist, or I can just finish straight away from here. I've noticed for a lot of white belts that they have a problem with turning their hips enough. You almost need to become perpendicular to your opponent to be able to hit this effectively. And in the beginning, when we still have our rock hips, our hips haven't opened up, they haven't developed into our jiu-jitsu hips yet. It makes hitting this armbar, the traditional armbar, very, very difficult. But I found with the underhook armbar, the act of getting that underhook puts my hips in the exact position that I need. I can't really get that underhook effectively if I don't turn my hips enough. So the foundation of this submission is already set, and it makes it so much easier to finish the armbar. So as a recap, in order to elevate your closed guard, you're gonna wanna start moving around a little bit within that closed guard position. You wanna stop focusing on being so upper body dominant. Incorporate your hips to affect your opponent's posture and positioning. And also holding the position too long. Once you've lost it, switch to something else. Jiu-jitsu is dynamic and you need to flow with what your opponent's doing. You can't force things most of the time. You have to flow and take what your opponent's giving you. Once you start effectively incorporating all three elements that we covered today, hitting submissions from closed guard is going to start to feel a little bit more easy, a little bit more simple, a little bit more smooth. At the end of the day, closed guard is an attack position. It's an offensive position. If you guys have any other tips on what you like to do in closed guard, you've been training for a while and you got some stuff figured out, drop it in the comments because we all can learn from each other, including myself. I appreciate you guys, and you know how we like to end them. Sometimes backwards, always forwards. I'll see you in the next one.